Hello guys, we got a 13 game MLB slate for Thursday, July 7th. We do have a doubleheader in the Pirates and the Reds in Cincinnati, so that should be some offensive fireworks. Looking forward to those two games, but of course doubleheaders, there could be a chance that some main guys sit. We also have a few that maybe there could be rain in forecast, so just some things that we have to monitor. But take a look first at first inning runs allowed. There's one prop that this is not an official play, but I think a lot of people are going to take is the Giants and the Padres for the under, because Logan Webb against Joe Musgrove just seems like a very good pitcher's duel. Not a lot of runs probably are going to be scored, but the one thing is Jock Peterson is very good against Joe Musgrove, and I think he 7 of his 8 hits have been extra base hits, including I think it's 4 homers. So that's very dangerous, and likely you're going to see Peterson get an at-bat in the first inning. So that's some pretty scary stuff. I don't really recommend playing this one, so I'm kind of staying away from it. But I do have some that are going to be first inning hits. Of course, these always are going to be up in the morning, but because these videos are going to be hosted at the previous night, that's why I do still give these out, so you can play them whenever they do pop up on the board. And I actually have 4 today, so it's going to be both the Pirates and Reds games. I prefer the game 2 because game 2 right now, this list of starters are Bryce Wilson and Robert Duggar compared to Roansy Contreras and Mike Minor. I mean, all 4 of these pitchers are not good, but I think I'd rather target Wilson and Duggar just because we can choose which one we want, and we don't have to play all of them. And I just think this is a better spot. Now, it is worth noting, again, doubleheader, so these two teams might rest some of their key players either in the first game or the second game, so that could definitely play a role into which one's actually better. But keep an eye on both of these games for these two teams. The next one is going to be Colorado and Arizona, also an over 1.5 hits. All these are going to be over 1.5 hits. Austin Gomber against Dallas Keuchel. 2 lefties who are very bad this game. Not going to be in cores this time, but these two teams have some good hitters against left-handed pitchers, especially in the Rockies. They do play pretty well against lefties. Keuchel, he's been bad for a while now. Gomber, really nothing special either. Jordan Luplow, he's always leading off against lefties. He's known to be a lefty specialist. And then you got Hummel, who bats pretty poor, but is switch hitter. And then Ketel Marte, who does bat higher, at least for the average, against lefties. Christian Walker, of course, if it gets there. So these two teams, just the pitchers that they're facing, looks like to be a pretty good over. And then the last one's going to be Toronto and Seattle. Casey Lawrence and Marco Gonzalez. Lawrence, I think he's missed he hasn't been in the majors for I think 3 years. So, he's really nothing special. That's why he's not been a consistent part of the league. Marco Gonzalez, he's kind of a pitcher who needs to induce weak contact because he just doesn't strike guys out. He's going to have to face a lineup that could potentially be all righties. So that is a very big concern for Gonzalez. And he's someone, again, no strikeout stuff. So he's going to be allowing guys to put the ball in play. And that's why he will allow hits. So you have Springer, Bichette, Guerrero being a 3. If it gets to Kirk, someone's probably going to get a hit. The Blue Jays also can cover this themselves in the top of the first, so I like this one as well. On to strikeouts. Got one, Jordan Lyles over 4.5 against the Angels. Everyone is just targeting the Angels, and I mean, there's a reason to it. The Angels just strike out a ton. It just seems like they don't know what they're really doing right now. They're struggling. They lost a lot of games in a row. They fired their manager, and they still are kind of, they won on Wednesday, but they still definitely, aside from Ohtani, they've really been pretty dreadful. Some of the guys in their lineup, especially the bottom part, I mean, really the entire lineup, they just strike out a ton. Facing righties on the road, they lead the league in strikeouts by over 3%, which is just a crazy margin. And 78 WRC plus, they just seem to struggle on the road. Even at home, they K a lot, but because they're on the road here, they usually do play pretty poorly. Mike Trout has just been a strikeout machine. Brandon Marsh, Max Stassi, Ohtani strikes out. Like everyone in this lineup, they added Jonathan Villar. He strikes out a ton. So I think Jordan Lyles, he's not a good pitcher as you can see. And that K stuff, that's not really that great. But this matchup is just so good. You look at his strikeouts this season, like he's had some games where he's had a lot of strikeouts. Like 4.5 is the number, 6, 6, 5, 6, 8, 8, 7, 7. Like that's probably over half of the games that he's hit over 4.5. And this is the best strikeout matchup for a pitcher. So it looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure this is going to move to 5. So take it while you can for the over. For fantasy score, I'm surprised these haven't moved because usually they move like maybe within 10 minutes. And this is like 3 hours later. But Ronzi Contreras, Mike Minor, both at 25.5. Taking the unders on both. I don't recommend playing them in the same entry because they're facing each other. They could still hit the unders because they're both really not that great. But in the case that one of them gets a win, like he's probably going to hit the over, and that's going to ruin your entry. So I would suggest you separate these guys. Don't play them together. If I had to choose one, I think I probably would lean towards Minor being the favorite over Contreras because Minor doesn't have the strikeout stuff that Contreras has. Both of these teams, they will strike out against righties for the Reds and then lefties for the Pirates. But Minor, his K stuff is pretty weak. Gotta pull up his numbers. And he just allows a ton of hits. He has not been good this season. Contreras, he allows a ton of hard contact. And that's not going to be good when you're playing in the best pitcher's ballpark or best hitter's ballpark for this season. Now, yeah, he does have that K stuff. He's a very young pitcher, so he's pretty raw. I mean, his numbers, expected ERA, is a lot higher. So that slugging is kind of crazy high. His game logs, yeah, he will strike guys out, but he looks like he's going to allow runs, he's going to allow homers because of the hard hit rates. And then you look at Mike Minor, no strikeout stuff pretty much. A little bit better at limiting, or a lot better compared to Contreras at allowing less hard hits, but he allows a lot of hits though, so that's not really great either. So I just think because these pitchers struggle, Minor allowing a ton of power in this ballpark, it's just going to be a big issue for both of these guys. And this is game 1, so that's going to be in the afternoon. Even better for hitters here, 2:10 Eastern, 9-run total. Honestly, should probably be higher, and it's 82 degrees. These two teams, their bullpen really aren't. Bullpen isn't great either. So I like the under for both these pitchers, just like the offense to get to them. And then on to hitting. Obviously, we're gonna like the hitters against these pitchers. Brian Hayes, 7.5, taking the over. He's also available for 1.5 total bases, but I'm going to take his hitter fantasy score because Minor, he's not like someone who's going to allow a ton of stolen bases. He's a lefty, but Hayes does have 9 stolen bases on the year. He also does, Hayes rather, 9 stolen bases on the year. He will run. He's capable of that, but let me pull Hayes' numbers up. He's just a lot better when he's playing lefties. His numbers haven't been that great lately. 72 sprint speed percentile. Not a lot of power, but his splits, lefties, significantly better. In close to a third of the, not quite, more like the half, but just hitting a lot better. Average, hit another homer, one additional homer. But his numbers, you look at his batting average, he's been dropping. But also, you look at the matchups, why that's the case. I mean, he's been having to face some pretty good pitching teams like the Cardinals, the Giants, the Yankees here, the Brewers. So I think when you're getting a matchup against the Reds, one of the worst bullpens in the league, and also the best ballpark for hitters, it definitely looks like Hayes could have a pretty good game here. So that's why I do like his 7.5 for the over. You get, in case that he does steal a bag, you definitely get that bonus rather than the 1.5 total bases. Next, I know you guys aren't going to like these, but we're going back to Baltimore. Trey Mancini and Austin Hayes. Prefer Mancini because he's just a better hitter, but it's Chase Silseth on the mound, and I've attacked this guy for a while now. Every time when his fantasy score was up, I would take this guy's under. If you've been a regular on this channel, Silseth just isn't someone that the Angels really believe in. Like, he's called up, but they really just, it seems like they don't really like him that much. His pitch count's always low. If he gets into trouble, he's gone. He's going to get yanked. His pitch count's at 79.5, which I would wish that it was a little bit higher. Then I would have the under as a play, but he just isn't really that great. Fastball, split slider, Trey Mancini, the best hitter for the Orioles here. Against righties, I mean, fastball, slider, excellent, splitter, expected batting average, small sample, only 3 plate appearances, but I mean, at least it's good to see that's a 425 expected batting average. So, I mean, you know, just the main pitches though, fastball, slider, Mancini hits well, so I like the over. And Austin Hayes, he's a very good hitter against the slider, so that's why the case for Hayes is over. And the Angels bullpen, they're not good. So even if Silseth has a bad outing, likely Mancini and Hayes has already done some damage. But if they haven't, they do get to face a weak Angels bullpen. So I like the overs for both of these Orioles guys. And then on to hits and walks. So got 2 here. Alex Bregman, first one, 1.5 hits and walks. For him, going to be because they're taking out Chris Bubic. Bubic is a horrible pitcher, one of the worst in the league. Alex Bregman walks at an insane rate. I think he's in the 98th percentile. And then you look at Bubic in the 8th percentile for walks. He doesn't strike many guys out, so Bregman should be able to put the ball in play. His splits are very weird, 97th percentile actually. Barely strikes out, but he's been a lefty destroyer in his career. For whatever reason this year, maybe it's the matchup because he's only had 90 at-bats, but I don't know what's up with it. But I think this is definitely going to be a lot better. You just don't see this kind of drop-off, especially when you're getting to face one of the worst pitchers in the league. So I like that for Bregman. And his walks, like, look at how much he walks. Like, he's walking twice, actually quite frequently. So he can actually get there alone from the walks. But obviously I do like this hitting spot. That's why I do like the over for him. And then another one is going to be Jose Abreu at 1.5, taking on Bo Brisky. Bo's also just someone that will walk a lot of guys, and then Abreu, for him, he gets on base. He has a high walk rate. Brisky, 51 percentile actually for the walk, but he doesn't strike guys out. He's allowed a ton of hard hits. He higher expected ERA, like expected batting average over 300, and then Abreu doesn't strike many times, 84th percentile. So it seems like it's a very good hitting spot for Abreu. If he doesn't get a chance to swing the bat, 11.8% walk rate, should be able to hit the over for this one as well. Personal plays got 3. Tony Gonsolin over 5.5. Brian Reynolds for game 2 over 7.5. O'Neal Cruz game 2 over 5.5. Depending on where he hits though in the lineup. And then if we do get total bases, 1.5 for Acuna, Riley, Anderson, Abreu, and Vlad. Overs for those guys. Stolen base targets, Dylan Cease, Logan Webb, Bryce Wilson, Jordan Lyles, Marco Gonzalez, Garrett Cole, and Trevor Williams. However, many of those guys are actually pretty good pitchers, so I don't target them because when we're taking stolen bases, we want the fantasy score. And like, even for John Birdie, it's at 8.5. I don't think I want to target the matchup against Williams just to bank on a stolen base. So not really anything there. Maybe Ohtani, but he's at 8.5 as well because he does have a good matchup against Lyles and he can have that bonus of a stolen base. But yeah, just doesn't feel really like a day to target those. I would say for plays overall, it's going to be minoring Roman and Contreras. Unders on 25.5. Bregman next. Hayes, and then Mancini. So that is it for the video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck on the slate, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.